Let's talk about China. China is a beautiful and one of the ancient cultural country. According to Chinese scholars, China has more than 3,600 years of written cultural history. Culture and traditions are the national identities of a country. The Chinese culture has tremendous diversity and variety. Every corner of the world knows about China's culture, population, and influence, but still it seems very bizarre and mysterious to the Western world. Chinese culture and traditions. Before travel China, knowing about their tradition and culture will help you to enjoy travel in China. Chinese culture rich in arts and sciences, elaborate painting and printing techniques, and delicate pottery and sculpture. Chinese architectural traditions were enormously respected all over the world. Chinese language and literature, philosophy, and politics are still regarded as a strong influence. Ethnic group. China is the socialist country in East Asia and the most populous country in the world. China is a large united multinational state. Officially China has 56 ethnic groups include Han Chines, the Tibetans, the Mongols, the Manchus, the Naxi, and the Hejun, which is the smallest group with fewer than 2,000 people. Among them, Han Chinese is the largest group, 91.60% are in the Han Chinese group of the overall Chinese population. Each group has different dialects like Hmong-Mie languages, Kaikadai languages, and Chinese, and practice a variety of different cultural customs. Most of the ethnic groups are merged with the Han Chinese group and maintain distinct linguistic and regional cultural traditions. Chinese traditional food items. Have you eaten? Is a common greeting for Chinese. Chinese people love to eat. Food is a science, an art, and a social activity in China. Chinese food culture is quite different from other countries. Chinese cuisine is the best cuisine in the world because of its rich food culture. Chinese food culture varies in several regions with distinct styles of cooking. The ingredients are used based on natural and agricultural products. Noodles, rice, and steamed buns are the staple food in China. Rice is served separately in a small bowl and meat. Vegetables are served on a plate or big bowl. On Chinese dining, you cannot find salt or pepper shakers or tomato sauce bottles, but you may find bottles of soy sauce, vinegar, and chili paste and use chopsticks to take their food, not knives and forks. As the capital of China, the typical food there is also worth a try, such as the roasted duck, ludagunart ludagung, yellow pea cake guando luong, and fried liver chow gan. In the morning, having a bowl of hot doujier with deep-fried dough sticks or steamed stuffed bun would be such a satisfaction. All kinds of noodles like steamed cold noodle, liang pai, buckwheat noodle, chow mai ula. The cold dish is the first course in traditional Chinese banquet and the main course is called hot dish. Rice is the staple dish for southern China. The famous food in Xi'an Chinese hamburger, ru jia mo, and lamb stew with vegetable, shui pen yang ru. China has a long history of rituals and etiquette, and eating is a highly important thing in China's culture. 1,000 years of evolution. China developed a general food ritual and practices. It has variation according to the character and purpose of a banquet and regionally. Chinese people like a noisy place when having meals. They think if the food is tasty then the restaurant will be busy and crowded. Religions by population in China. China is a multi-religious country. Taoism, Islam, Buddhism, Protestantism, and Catholicism have all grown into culture-shaping neighborhoods during Chinese history. Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism are considered as three pillars of ancient Chinese society. The majority of Buddhist believers are Han Chinese. However, since many Han Chinese practice a historical cultural Buddhism rather than a daily practice, it can be difficult to count their exact numbers. Only 5 religions are official in China. Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, Catholicism, and Protestantism are illegal. Taoism is native in China and has more than 1,700 years of history. Confucianism was a way of life for ancient Chinese people, and it continues to influence Chinese culture today. About a quarter of the people in China are practice Taoism and Confucianism and other traditional religions, and a small part of people practice Buddhists, Muslims, and Christians. Recent polls concluded that 80% of Han Chinese practice Chinese folk religion and Taoism, 10 to 16% are Buddhists, 3 to 4% are Christians, and 1–2% are Muslims in China. Languages spoken by the Chinese people. China is the most populated country and has 100 languages to speak in China. The Chinese language is comprised of many regional variants called dialects. Mandarin is the official language in China, also called Putonghua. More than 70% of people are native of Mandarin. China also has several other major dialects includes Yu Cantonese, Zhang, Hunanese, Min dialect, Gan dialect, Wu dialect, and Kejia or Hakka dialect. Mandarin is the most spoken dialect in China and uses as a second language in China by those who speak in other Chinese dialects. Chinese are mostly used their mother tongue, and many people learn Chinese as a second language. People who wants to learn Chinese or want to work in China, they must need to learn 3,000 characters for fluent enough. Chinese language mostly tonal language. If you are an English speaker, learning Chinese will be a very difficult part to catch the 5 tone. The meaning of Chinese can change drastically based on the tone you use to pronounce them. Chinese is the oldest language in the world. The written language has existed for more than 3,000 years. Chinese New Year Festival. China is listed as the most ancient civilization in the world. It has over 5,000 years of traditional history and witnessed the creation of many Chinese traditional festivals. According to the Chinese region, Chinese festivals categories into 3 categories: agricultural, religious, and social festivals. China has several traditional festivals that are celebrated all over the country, and the most important festival in China is the New Year. China celebrates its New Year within 15 days to 25 days of January. Chinese New Year is called Spring Year. Chinese Mid-Autumn Festivals. Mid-Autumn Festival falls on the 15th day of the 8th lunar month. Dragon Boat Festival are the eldest festival in China. China also has Lantern Festival, Qingming Festival, Double Seventh Festival, Double Ninth Festival, Winter Solstice, Laba Festival, Chinese Moon Festival, and many more. Chinese festivals are very important parts for Chinese people. They fully highlight their Chinese culture and traditions in their festival. Ancient Chinese marriage. Chinese marriages are interesting, fused with their Chinese culture and traditions. In ancient Chinese marriage culture, people bearing the same surnames were allowed to get married. Marriage between siblings was allowed too. The marriage process began with a marriage proposal and acceptance. If the proposal received well, the go-between, who acted as a buffer between the two parties, would obtain the date and hour of the girl's birth recorded. If the astrologer confirms a young woman and their son would make a good match, then they would proceed for the wedding date and rest ritual. On the wedding day, hairdressing for the bride and the capping ritual for the groom. This ritual is a very important part of the wedding. Chinese calligraphy. Calligraphy means beautiful writing. It was the visual art form prized above all others in traditional China. Chinese calligraphy has a long history, about 1,000 years. Chinese calligraphy is a style of Chinese character writing. From a very early age, calligraphy was not just considered as a decorative form of art, it was the view as a visual art form. Chinese calligraphy reflects the importance of the word. The unique forms developed and originated from China, particularly for writing Chinese characters by using ink and a brush. Chinese calligraphy has 5 main categories, include seal script, clerical script, regular script, running script, cursive script. The popular calligraphy master Zhang Yao, 151 to 230, is known as the father of standard script. Wen Zhengming, 1470-1559, Zhang Rui 1570-1641, Zhu Yunming, 1460-1527, and Huang Daozhou, 1585-1646.